So this is just unscripted video, just talking about something that I've been considering doing, and I think I'm just going to go for it. So I, for a long time, had been wanting to, I think all of us, to some extent, go down this rabbit hole. All of us in FragCom, right? I mean, that's why we buy a bunch of new releases. Our collections grow. We get kind of carried away chasing, the ultimate fragrance or something that we feel like is going to somehow be better than the next. It's largely, what I guess is also responsible for the success of companies like Dua and cologne houses that, kind of dive into the hybrid territory where, somehow by meshing fragrances that are popular or smell good on their own, that mashing them together is going to somehow create a better fragrance than either a standalone fragrance on its own. It's clearly works from a marketing standpoint. I've had my fair share of hybrids I've tried in the past as well. So I'm not knocking anybody who's a fan of hybrids. I think it's an interesting concept. It's certainly a great idea for a cologne company such as Dua because it provides them with a million, infinite number of possibilities for new releases. Constantly can mash new fragrances together. Hybrids mix 3 together, 4 together, 5 together. I've seen some of these cologne houses doing like 30 fragrances in one. It's absolutely insane. People buy it. So anyway, the point is, we're all chasing this kind of, mythical fragrance that's gonna somehow satisfy us, and be what we're looking for, what we're chasing. And the problem is that satisfaction never really happens. We'll find fragrances we like, maybe multiple fragrances we like, but there's always something. Maybe it could be different, it could be better, or maybe the next one that came out is better than what we got now. And a large portion of this whole community, I guess, and the addiction that is FragCom is the reality that there's kind of this, a large majority of people in FragCom who are doing it for attention, who want compliments, who want to get noticed. And I'm not knocking those people. I'm someone who likes to wear fragrances, not necessarily to get attention, but I like to smell good, and I want stuff to be mass appealing because I don't want to, smell bad around people. And I want people that think you smell good, it's great. But there's this kind of weird, thought process that somehow, the new release might be better. It might be better, more compliments. Girls might like it more. It's going to get you more attention from the opposite sex, etc., whatever. The reality is, the overwhelming majority of fragrances, especially designers, are going to be mass appealing. They're going to get you attention. They're going to have the same reaction from people. By and large, for the most part, they're going to say you smell good. You get a blue fragrance, that whole realm's going to smell about the same. It's fresh out of the shower kind of scent profile. And most people you interact with are going to think you smell good. Now, if you got a Bleu de Chanel EDT, EDP, or Parfum, and you pass somebody, is it going to be a drastic difference? No, they're going to think you smell good. If it's Dylan Blue, if it's Sauvage, if it's, Versace Pour Homme, any of the million different fragrances that are out there in that category are going to have the same result. So, but the marketing and everything else draws people in. We all are chasing that kind of next big release to kind of satisfy that I guess need in our head. But I say all this for this reason, and I, through being in now this hobby addiction for a while. I've tried a ton of different fragrances, especially with my channel. Buy new fragrances, I sell them, rotate, get decants as well. I've tested a lot of stuff. And I certainly have my favorites, certainly cleared out a lot that I don't use. I try to do that just to get new ones in to test, obviously for the channel, as well as my own just interest. But I will say, while I found some fragrances that I think are 10 out of 10, none of them really are what I would call, really perfect. So anybody who's, following this channel for any period of time knows that I'm a huge fan of Aventus and Parfums de Marly Layton. And both of those I find to be really good. But I believe both could be improved in different ways. And so Layton, especially with the release of Layton Exclusive, I was hoping that would have a different kind of scent profile than it does. I was hoping it would be darker in a way that wasn't animalic. I thought, the addition of incense that's kind of done in like Bleu de Chanel, especially the Parfum version, or darkened up in the way that the Parfum version of Dior Sauvage, would add a very interesting take to Layton. Dial back that sweetness a tad, add that incense in there, as well as some other tweaks, and I'll get into that more later. I think could really make the fragrance something truly exceptional. And, unfortunately, you don't have that option, right? You have the option to buy Layton or Layton Exclusive or just get some other fragrance, but we can't pick and choose. We can't really alter, those fragrances. And I know there's clone companies like New Bottles who, add some notes, and I think that's cool. He takes, presumably, clone oil, and then adds notes to it and tweaks it, and I think that's cool because that kind of does what I'm talking about. But I don't want to just add notes. I want to actually kind of change the original scent profile, take stuff out and add to it. And that's a little different, right? So I've been thinking about this for a while, and I thought, why don't I just make my own fragrance? Okay. When I mean make my own fragrance, I want to be very clear. I'm not talking clone houses. Okay. I'm not talking buying pre-made fragrance oil that a lab had put through a machine. The original fragrance broke down the notes, recreated the fragrance oil. They buy it. They add fixatives. They add perfumer's alcohol, and they repackage it and sell it to you. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually making a fragrance, getting the individual notes, the accords, as well as whatever fixatives you're adding to it, and building it up from the ground up. Downside of that is obviously it takes a lot of trial and error, getting the ratios right. It's expensive. It's a lot of supplies, a lot of stuff you got to buy. Overhead in the forefront. But I thought it would be really cool to do. Something that I've always been interested in doing. So I'm going to do that. If you're worst case, it's a giant waste of money and it smells like trash and whatever. But I think it's worth a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the accords to make my first attempt at making a fragrance, which is going to be essentially Layton with a twist, but it's not going to be, and this is just for the first one. I'm not going to do this, I'm going to try to have actual original creations after this, but this is something I've always wanted. So I'm going to start there. Mainly also because we all know what Layton smells like. So I'll be able to know, I'm very familiar with Layton, obviously myself, how close I can get the scent profile without using an actual clone oil, okay? And then I'm going to take that and alter the notes and build different batches to get it to how I want and how I think this fragrance should smell in my head. Now, if I can recreate that and see if I can make it a reality. If I do, successful, I will make a couple batches. I'll send it out for people to try, reviewers and people in the community, followers of my channel, for your honest opinions. And again, that's why I want to send it to just more people than just reviewers. Because I think it covers more people and it allows you all to actually give your voice and input. And then what I was hoping to do, if that's successful, and this is a big if, right? Actually just start creating fragrances slowly, because again, this is going to be a big financial investment, and I always start slow, and it's just me doing this. And again, this isn't buying pre-made stuff, so I'm literally having to start from the beginning. Is doing kind of fragrances that I'll create some that I think are interesting, but also taking input from you all, what you think would be a cool fragrance to see. Maybe just doing either a live kind of live, whatever live stream, and get feedback, talk and discuss, kind of get input on what y'all would like to see, or come down, kind of narrow that down to different types of profiles, and then have voting on it, and then maybe, kind of come up with the most popular ones of what people want to see, create those, send them out, again, for you all for review, input, maybe alter it. I think it'd be kind of fun to do. for the channel, and I think it would be interesting just to do in general. So again, I don't plan on this taking off and making a ton of money or anything like that. It just would be I think a fun thing to do, and I would document the process for you all so you could see how I was doing it. So if you wanted to recreate or create your own fragrance, you could do that as well. This wouldn't be, again, this would literally be me making the fragrance. So that would be what would be documented, me adding the notes and how it's done and how long it needs to sit and the fixatives and all that stuff. I would show you all the process, maybe do a live stream too when I'm making some fragrances. The process itself, you could ask questions. Now, again, if this was even successful, I've done a lot of research into it more recently, and it certainly seems doable. And I've luckily, again, because of this channel, been able to smell a million different fragrances, so I kind of know what I like and what I don't like, what notes I like and what I don't like, how those fragrances that I like, how the notes are kind of set up, in the hierarchy as far as the mid, the top and the bottom, and how that kind of makes the fragrance develop and how it works together. So I think I got a couple ideas in mind of things I would like to see. And again, the first one would be my version essentially of a latent exclusive, what I think a latent exclusive should have been. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to call it latent exclusive. I would come up with another name, obviously, and I think that would be something I'd have you all vote on too. It'd be kind of cool, just interactive, more so with the community. So that's my idea. If y'all would like to see that, let me know. Again, start small, be one fragrance I'm creating at the beginning. If it's successful, we'd expand from there, document the process for everybody so they knew how to do it. They could do it themselves if they're interested, and then have your input and have you all vote on some stuff you'd like to see. Again, this would literally be creating a fragrance from the ground up. Okay, we'd start small for obvious reasons. This isn't clone oils. I'm not buying clone oils. I'm not adding perfumer's alcohol to it. Pre-made oils. This is literally just the entire process. Now, these would either be actual oils, fragrance oils, individual cords though, would probably be how it would be done, but so in that sense it's oils, but it's not like a pre-made, oil that's already a scent profile fragrance and then just add the alcohol to it. So anyway, but I'm not going to be going and doing what Duet says they're doing and picking some iris and, going and getting some carrots from the ground and grinding them up and making, no, it's not going to happen. So anyway, let me know what y'all think. Obviously the concentration would be at least 30%. I would make sure the projector perform well. Yeah, and then I'll have to think of a name for, the branding and all that stuff. But we'll just see how it goes. I think it'd be fun. So anyway, let me know in the comment section if it's something you'd be interested in seeing and any input y'all have.